it become positive. Then this I have minus 4p greater than or equal to 12. Then I have to divide by negative 4 throughout, so that negative 4 and negative 4 can cancel, and I only have p. Now watch out here, pay attention here. I divided by negative 4 throughout. The moment when you are dealing with inequalities, the moment you divide with a negative number, the inequality sign changes direction. It is facing this direction. Now it should face like that. Then 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3. So the answer is p less than or equal to minus 3. That is the same as saying, still the same. Don't write like that. You either write that way, don't write O, only write 1. If you don't write like this, then you can write that. Don't write it. Don't give the two answers like that. Now here we are coming to sequences. The question says that we should find the nth term of the sequence here before you write any formula or anything. You need to be able to determine whether the sequence is arithmetic or geometric. How do we tell? Look at the common difference or the common ratio. Let's do it. From negative 3 to 5 to 13 to 21, what is the pattern? Okay, let me try. 21 minus 13 equals to 7. And then 13 minus 5 equals to, not 7 but 8, sorry. I'm still getting 8 here. And then 5 minus negative 3, I'm getting 8. So you can see that the pattern here is adding 3, not 3 but 8. So negative 3, if we add 8, we get positive 5. If we add 8, we get positive 13. If we add 8 again, we get positive 21. That already tells, since we are adding the same number, therefore the type of sequence is arithmetic. Now we can write the formula for the nth term, which is Tn equals to a plus d n minus 1. What is a, what is d, and what is n? A is the first term. In our case, a is equal to negative 3. D is the common difference. The common difference is the number that we are adding to negative 3 to get 5. We add to 5 to get 13. That number is 8. So we write negative 3 plus 8, 8 minus 1. The n, you leave it like that because you are finding the nth term. So here we have negative 3 plus 8, n minus 8. Which gives us 8n minus 11, and that is the answer. Number 23, we have two functions here, f of x and g of x. Letter A, we have to find the value of g of negative 3. Let me explain a little bit here. G of negative 3, it means in the our g of x is here. In the place of x, let's put in -3. So we write g of -3 is equal to -3, and that gives us 9. You can do it on a calculator. That is the answer. And we want to find the inverse of f of x. So our f of x is equals to 3 minus 3x. Let me do this one a little bit slow. The first step, rewrite in the place of f of x, write y equals to 3 minus 3x. This side we do not change anything, it's only this side. The second step, interchange y and x. In the place of y, write x equal to 3 minus 3. In the place of x, write y. At this step, solve for y. Therefore, we have x. We now move this positive 3 to go to the other side, become minus. Then we have equal to minus 3y. Since I have minus 3, then I have to divide throughout by minus 3. So that this can cancel, then my y is equal to x minus 3 over minus that. Or y equals to, we can write minus x over 3 plus 1. Still the same. But the final answer, write starting with that, not y. So we now write inverse of f of x equals to x minus 3 over minus 3. That is the final answer. Alternatively, use a different color. Alternatively, from here, I could say, since I'm solving for y, I could write my x like that. And then I bring my negative 3y this side to be positive 3y equals to, the 3 here remains positive. And then I move the x to the other side, become negative. Then I have 3y equals to 3 minus x. Then I divide throughout by 3, so that my y is equal to 3 minus x over 3. So my final answer would be 3 minus x over 3. Either this answer or this answer or that answer, they are all correct, but you don't need to write all of them, only write one. The last one, that is for your homework. You can try that and then you can confirm with my answer. I hope you have tried the question that I asked you. Now you can confirm with my answer here. The question says that you should express g of f of x in simplest form. Now what you do with this type of question, let me rewrite the two functions. We have f of x equals to 3 minus 3x, and then we have g of x equals to x squared. Now for us to find g of f of x, these are two functions, therefore this becomes a composite function. Now, to answer this question, what you need to do, if you look at the letter A, we had g of -3. What we did, in the place of x, we put in -3. Now, in this case, since we have g of f of x, in the place of x, we have to put in the function of f of x. So we can now write this is equal to, the function of g of x is x squared. So we write two brackets like that, and then we square it. In the place of x, we put in f of x, which is equal to 3 minus 3x. Since it is squared, we can now expand the brackets. 3 to the power 2 is 9. We bring the minus down, and then 3 times -3 gives us -9, times 2, we get -18x. And then -3x squared, we get positive 9x squared. That is the answer. But if we can rewrite the answer properly, we can start with the x squared term. Then we have 9x squared minus 18x positive 9. I hope you have the same answer. Let's look at this question here. This is question 24, that we need to factorize completely. Letter A, we have x squared minus 16x. Now, since we have two terms, we have to identify a common factor. What is common here? The only common thing here is x. So what we do, we take out the x, and then we open bracket. This side there are two x's. Therefore, if we take out 1, we are left with 1. And then minus. This side, if you remove the x, then we only have 16. And that's the answer. While here, this is a quadratic expression. To factorize this nicely, I think I need to use the shorter way of doing it. The short way, since there are 2 marks, I think we need to have 2 steps. Since there are 2 marks, we need to have 2 steps. First, what we have to do, in front here, there is 1. Although they don't usually indicate that 1, but we know there is 1. So what we do, we take this 1 and 39. 1 times 39. We multiply those two numbers. This is positive. So 1 times positive 39, we get 39. Now the question is, what are the factors of 39 that we can multiply to get 39? But when we add those two factors of 39, we get -16. Now you can try it. We can try all the factors of 9. But the two factors are 3 and 13. 3 times 13, you get 39. But when you add these two, you get positive 16. What we have here is negative. So how do we get the negative? We put negatives in front. Let me try to use a calculator here so you can see. We have -3 times -13 equals to, we get positive 39. Let's try to add them. Negative 3 plus negative 13 equal to negative 16. Those are the two numbers. Therefore, what we can now do, we now write x squared minus, in the place of 16x, we now replace by negative 3x and negative 13x, and then plus 39. Now from here, we can now try to group like that. The common factor here is x, and then we are left with x minus 3, minus here we have 13, and then x minus 3. Negative and negative gives us positive. So from here we now take x minus 13 in one bracket, x minus 13 in one bracket, and then this bracket and that bracket, they're the same. We just write 1, x minus 3, and that's the answer. (25) The graph shows the speed of Wesley in a cycling race. Calculate the total distance traveled by Wesley over 3 hours. Now here, our time is in hours. Our speed is kilometer per hour, so the units are balancing. But if our time was in seconds and then our speed was in kilometer per hour, then we're going to change the seconds to hours. But in this case, everything is fine. So our distance here, we have to use the formula for trapezium, area of a trapezium. Because this is a trapezium, the formula is half a plus b times height. A and b, these are the two parallel lines. In our case, the distance from, which color should I use here? Let me use red. Let our A be the distance from here up to there. Let that be A. And our distance from here all the way up to 3. Let that be B. These two lines, they are parallel. Now we write half our A, the distance from here up to there. This is 1. From 1 to 2 is 1. So we write 1 plus our B, the distance from 0 to 3 is just 3. 1, 2, 3. And the height, this is the height from here coming down straight up to B, from A to B, the distance between the two parallel lines, that is the height. Now that distance is 30. You can see from 0, this is 0 from here going up to 30. So we multiply by 30. Then we have, sorry for that, we have half. 1 plus 3 is 4 times 30. 4 times 30 is 120. Half of 120 is 60 kilometers. So that is the distance. Question 26. What we have here it is given that m is directly proportional to the square root of n. What you have to do, m is directly proportional. It means we have to write the equation. Where can I write it? Let me write it here. Okay, let me write it here. M, when it says directly proportional, just put equal, after equal followed by k, because they are direct proportional. After writing k, then we now have square root. You write square root of n. That is the equation. Now, the question is saying, find the value of s and the value of t. We have s and t. We have two variables here, m and n. The side where m is, we have s. The side where n is, we have t. Before we get the value of s and t, we have to get first the value of k. How do we get the value of k? We get the value of k by substituting the place of m and n, these two numbers. Because here, n we have 9, s we don't know. That's what we want. Here we have t, here we have 27. So we have to use these two pair. Not two pair, but this one pair here for us to get the value of k. Now, in the place of m, let's put in 3 equal to k. And then we have square root. In the place of n, let us put in 4. And then we have 3 equals to k times square root of 4. We know it is 2. But what we want is k. We divide both sides by 2. Both sides by 2, so that this 2 and that 2 can cancel. This side, we only have k, and it's equal to 3 over 2. So we are going to use that to find the value of s and t. Now let's start with s. S is on the side of m. So in the place of m, let's put in s. We write s equal, and then in the place of k, we write 3 over 2. And then we have square root of n. But we don't need to put in n, because we know, since we are finding s, the side of n, the value is 9. We write 9. We have 3 over 2 times square root of 9 is 3. So our s is 3 times 3 over 2. You can use a calculator for this. Therefore, our s is 9 over 2, which is equivalent to 4.5. So you can write your s is 4.5. While solving for t, we are still going to use this equation. In the place of m, remember we are solving for t. We check where t is. In the place of m, we put in 27, because that is where m is. We put in 27, and then equal. In the place of k, we put in 3 over 2. That's what we found here. And then we have square root of n, but you don't need to put in n because we are finding t. We now put in t. Now here we have to divide both sides by 3/2, so that this 3/2 and 3/2 can cancel. Then this side, the right hand side, we only have square root of t, while this side, dividing by that, this is like we have, let me use a calculator before I'll confuse you. We have 27, we are dividing by 3/2 equals to 18. So we write 18 here. Now, we are looking for the value of t, not square root of t. So how do we remove the square root there? To remove the square root, we square both sides, so that the square and the square root can cancel. And then we have this side, only t which is remaining. Now let us square the answer here. We have 18 square equal to 324. 324. So the value for t is therefore 324. In exam, you can see the space here. In case you run out of space, you can also use this space here for your working. It's also allowed. Number 27. By shading the unwanted regions, find and label the region R. Find and label the region R, which satisfies the following inequalities. I'm not going to answer this question, but I will give some hint. This is linear programming. Let's start with the first inequality. Y is greater than or equal to x. Let's say this is our Cartesian plane. Here is y and here is x. The equation y equals to x is a linear equation with a line passing through that. This is y equals to x. But what we have here is greater than or equal to x. Now coming here, this is our x, that is our y. Y equals to x is here. Greater than, it means the region, the other side. And the inequality y less than or equal to 7 is here. We have y, our y-axis is there, y equals to 7. This is the straight line. But because less than 7, it means this side. So you can already tell that the region that you need to shade R is this region here, greater than x and then less than 7. So this is the region, the unwanted region that you need to shade. is here. And then 28, the exterior angle of a regular polygon is 24 degrees. Calculate the number of sides of this polygon. Let's say we have this type of a polygon. I want to explain the word exterior. We are told the exterior angle of a regular polygon. We don't know what type of a polygon is this one. We don't know whether it's pentagon, hexagon, nonagon. We do not know. But when it says exterior angle, if you can extend that line to go that way, this angle here is called exterior angle. That is the exterior angle. If we can also extend this line, this is also exterior angle. And if you extend this line, that is also exterior angle. You do the same here, we have exterior angle. You do the same here, you have this exterior angle. You do the same there, you have that exterior angle. But what you need to keep in mind is that, how many exterior angles do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sum of the exterior angles adds up to 360. The sum. And these exterior angles are all equal. They have the same size. Now, if we are given one exterior angle of a regular polygon, we can be able to determine the number of sides of the polygon, because we know sides is equal to the sum of the exterior angle is 360. We divide by one exterior angle. That gives us 15 sides. Number 29. Letter A. Describe fully a single transformation that maps F1 onto F2. How many marks? 3 marks. We need to state 3. We need to state 3 points. First, we state the type of transformation that took place, and then we state, if it's, let's say if it's enlargement, we state the scale factor, and then we state the center of enlargement. So there should be 3 points. That's why there are 3 marks. Now with F1 and F2, our F1 is there and F2 is here. From F1 to F2, you can see there was a rotation that took place. So the answer here, the type of transformation is rotation. That is 1 mark. Did it rotate clockwise or anti-clockwise? There are 2 ways of saying it. Let's say it rotated clockwise. You write clockwise. We can also state the angle. You can say 90 degree. If you write clockwise and then you write 90 degree, you don't need to indicate the negative sign. But if we could indicate, if we could not write clockwise, we only write the angle, then we could indicate negative, because clockwise is negative. And then we also state the center of rotation, which is they rotated at this point. So the x is 3, the y is 4. 3, 4. Let's continue with question 13. Now this question says that a solid glass is formed from a hemisphere and a cylinder. The hemisphere has a radius of 3 cm and the cylinder has a height of 5 cm. Calculate the total volume of the glass shape. Now you need to understand or underline this word total. Wherever you see the word total, it means you're combining two or more things. Now in our case here, we have a hemisphere and then a cylinder. So for us to get the total volume, we have to add the two volumes of the hemisphere and the cylinder. So what we can do, we write volume equals to, let's start with the volume of the cylinder, which we know it's pi radius square height plus the volume of the hemisphere. Here we are given the volume of a sphere. Please do not use this formula. If you choose to use this formula, divide the answer that you get from this formula by 2, because a hemisphere is half of a sphere. So the volume for a hemisphere is 2 over 3 pi radius cube. Now we can substitute in the formula. We have pi, you just write pi times the radius, it should be squared, the radius of a cylinder, it is 3 cm, and then times the height, which is 5 cm, and then plus 2 over 3 times pi times the radius, which should be cubed. The radius is 3 cm. So you can now take a calculator, and then we have pi times 3 square times 5 plus 2 over 3 times pi, and then times 3 cube equal to, we are getting 63 pi. So you can either write 63 pi, or you can write a decimal value, which is 197.9203372. So I'll advise you first, before you write the final answer here, first write your answer like this, and then you can now say, let's write a decimal number. We can now say to 3 significant figure, we can say 198 cubic centimeter. But if you write your answer like this, it's also correct. 31, letter A, it is given that P is this column vector, and then Q is that. Calculate P plus Q. Here we have 1, and then 2 plus, here we have 3 plus 4. So the answer here, -1 plus 3, we get, what do we get here? We get +2. Yes. and then 2 plus 4 is 6. So the answer here is 2, 6. And then we have to find the magnitude of Q. So we have Q like that equals to our Q is right there. We have 3 to the power 2 plus 4 square. It's actually 1 mark. So we have 9 plus 16, that gives us 25. Therefore the answer is 5. Letter B. In the triangle ODE, our OD is equal to D and OE is equal to E. F is a point on DE such that our DF is 2 over 3. 2 over 3 of DE. Calculate in terms of D and E, the vector DE. Now, with vectors, you have to keep in mind or take note of the direction. It means you are moving from D to E. Our D is here, we have to go to E. But we cannot use that way because you're not given any quantity there. But rather, we have to go like this up to O and then from O to E, because we are given the quantities. Now we write that our DE is equal to DO, and then from O we go to E, like that. Our DO is D, but the arrow is facing to D. Now since you are going opposite the arrow, therefore we write minus D, and then from O to E is plus E, since we are moving the same direction with the arrow. Therefore the answer is minus D plus E. And then let Roman 2, the position vector of F in its simplest form. Whenever you see the word position vector, you should always keep in mind that you are starting from O to go to F. In our case, position vector of F, we have to start from O to go to F. Position vector, it means you're starting from the origin, O to go to F. Now in our case, it will be better if we either go from O to E and then E to F, or O to D and then D to F. Now we write O, F. We are moving from O to F, equals to, which one should we take? Let's take O to D and then from D to F, because you are given DF. Our DF is 2 over 3 of DE. Now we can write OD, O to D is D, plus D, DF. DF we are given 2 over 3 of DE. So we write 2 over 3 of DF. DF, which is what we found here, DF is 2 over 3 of DE. Our DE is minus D plus E. Now we can simplify that to say 2 over 3. Let's put minus D here and then plus 2 over 3 E. Can use a calculator here to make your work easy. We have 1D minus 2 over 3 equals to 1 over 3d plus 2 over 3e. That is the answer there. 32, I think I need to use a different color here. Jerry has a bag containing red, green and orange balls. The table shows the probabilities of choosing a red or green ball. Complete, in bold, complete the table by finding the probability that Jerry chooses an orange ball. We have to complete this table here. What is the probability of Jerry choosing an orange ball? It may look difficult, but this question is very easy. That's why it's 1 mark. We know probability should add up to 1. So since we are given the probability for red and green, we combine the two and then we subtract from 1. So we write 1 minus 0.3 plus 0.25 equal to 11 over 20. So 11 over 20. 1 minus 11 over 20 equals to 9 over 20. But since these numbers are given in decimal, let's also give ours in decimal. Therefore 9 over 20 in decimal is 0.45. So we write 0.45. Now before we move on, let's quickly confirm something here. Since the probability should always add up to 1, let's add these three numbers and see if they are adding to 1. So we have 0.3 plus 0.25 plus 0.45 equal, they are all adding to 1, therefore it's correct. Letter B, find the probability that Jerry chooses a ball that is not orange, just the matter of adding these two. So we have 0.3 and then 0.25, 0.55. Now let's work out the last question, question 33. This is one of my favorite topics. The mass of each of 200 tea bags was checked by an inspector in a Windhoek factory. The results are shown by the cumulative frequency curve. Use the cumulative frequency curve to find the median mass. Now, if you look at this graph, the x-axis we have the mass, and the y-axis we have the cumulative frequency. Now, to read the graph, we are being asked to find the median mass. It means first we have to find the median of the cumulative frequency. Now the formula to use is median means 2 over 4 times the total number of tea bags, which is 200. Now what we are getting here, obvious half of 200 should be 100. Again, if you want, you can confirm that with a calculator. 2 over 4 times 200. That should give you 100. So the cumulative frequency 100 is here, but that is not the answer. We want to find the median mass, so the answer should come from this. So what we do, we trace from 100 here, we go up to the line graph, up to here, and then we now come down. Now here's the thing, 0.3, 0.2, here we have 3.0, here 3.2, so in the middle here we have 3.1. After 3.2 here we have 3.3. After 3.3 we have 3.4. So what number is here? So that number can be 3.38, which is very close to 3.4. And letter B, we have to find the interquartile range. Now the interquartile range is the formula. IR for interquartile range is equal to Q3 minus Q1. Now Q3 is the upper quartile. Q3, the upper quartile is 3/4 times the total, which is 200. What we are getting is 3/4 times 200 equals to 150. 150. And then Q1, not 3, but Q1 is 1/4 times 200. That is the total. What we are getting is 1/4 times 200 equals to 50. Equals to 50. Now, what we have here is, let's check where our 150 is on the cumulative frequency. 150 is here. We go up the line graph somewhere here, and then we come down to the x-axis. What number is there? 3.4. The next one is 3.5. So obviously this one should be 3.52. That is our Q3. What about our Q1? Our Q1 is 50. Let's go to 50. 50 is here. Let me use a different color this time. Let me use blue. 50 is here. We go to the cumulative frequency line graph up to here, and then we come down here. So what number is there? It's between 3.2 and 3.3. Not really in between, but a bit closer to 3.2. So that can be 3.24. I can say 3.24. Now we come to our formula here, where we say our interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. Our Q3 was 3.52 minus 3.24. That gives us 3.52 minus 3.24 equals to 0.28. 0.28. So the answer for the interquartile range is 0.28. I know there might be a shorter way of getting the answer. If you have another way of getting these answers very fast, please comment in the comments below, so that others can also see how to answer this type of questions. And if you are new to this channel, please do subscribe. And if you want to recommend me to record any video on any topic, you are free to do so. I'll appreciate